Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'd like to summarize a present and new development which is of relevance to this community and could have very positive impacts going forward. I'd like to thank my colleagues listed here who made this a reality. And we worked together in last year or so to develop this concept and get it implemented as an operational activity within the WMO infrastructure. And I'll explain what it means and what the implications might be and how it will help going forward. The bottom line up front, after all the efforts, after a long history of reanalysis and efforts we have made, things have gone on in the community for the last 25 to 30 years. We finally have at least the atmospheric climate reanalysis now a formal operational activity within the WMO infrastructure. It's a big step forward. It is a starting step, but it could eventually evolve into incorporating other reanalysis as part of the operational infrastructure within the WMO. It should help people who are doing reanalysis to justify their efforts, seek funding or whatever, and help sustain this activity going forward in time. For those who are coming from more academic community, not from the operational centers, WMO is a wonderful organization. It's one of the specialized agencies within UN. It's made of a lot of member states, basically all the countries within the world. It's about 192 members. What WMO does is to set down the standards for data exchange and communications. And all this data gets exchanged through the WMO, global telecommunication systems in the past. So all the observational data gets on the GTS, gets collected by the operational agencies, feeds into the simulation systems, which in turn produces the forecast, and then as a return to the community who are collecting all this data, all this forecast analysis data gets disseminated to the member states and it becomes a public good in terms of advancing the prediction system enterprise. So a lot goes on behind this within the WMO, mainly to set up the data standards and structures to be able to communicate and sustain the flow of information coming from observations to a simulation system, and then forecast feeding back to various users or various members. The way WMO is organized, this is a three-leg system. One is the YGOS, which deals with observational data. So that takes care of all the daily observations, GCOS, or whatever you have. Then there is a WIS, which is WMO information system, which sets down the standards, how data gets exchanged about the in-situ measurements and how the forecast gets disseminated. And the third leg of the system is the WIPS, which is WMO integrated processing and prediction system, and it deals with all the analysis and forecasting activity by most of the operational centers. Not every center does the forecast because it's very involved, expensive, and resource-oriented exercise, but which of the global centers can do the forecast, they do utilize the data from coming in from all the countries, and in return they provide this forecast to all the member states. So it's a very neat system. One deals with the observation, one deals with the exchange of the information, which is WIS, and one deals with the analysis and forecast and prediction systems. So that's how the overall structure of the WMO is organized. I'll just explain a little bit about the WIPS, WMO Integrated Processing and Prediction System. It's made of a lot of designated centers which provide operational forecast and analysis, and WIPS is supposed to evolve according to memory requirements or whatever the scientific advances are coming through. And again, WIPS is made up of about, at present, 150 designated centers, which do the global deterministic forecast, a whole range of activities from deterministic to ensemble predictions to long-range prediction, oceanic and hydrological forecasting, and some specialized activity like lead sensors for verification of different kind of forecasts. All in all, it's about 150 designated centers, and there's a WMO manual which basically describes what the center should be doing if they get designated as one of the WMO web center. Here's just an example. I've taken it from seasonal forecasts activities within the WIPs, since I'm most familiar with that. So what it does is that there are about, at present, 15 designated centers for the seasonal forecast, which is on my left or right, which is listed as global producing centers. They feed the data to a WMO lead center, which does the multi-model ensembles, does the post-processing, develops a forecast which are based on the multi-model ensemble, and then provides it to the user community. So in a way, it is a very neat structure. So on one side, you have the global producing centers for the seasonal forecast, feeding the data into a lead center, and then lead center does the post-processing and provides the forecast output to be used by the various member states. So far, the WIPs was mainly constructed out of the forecast centers which deal with the forecasting. So there's like ECMWF, Met Office, NCEP, and global forecast, regional forecast, and various activities. And as we heard in this meeting, climate reanalysis is one of the enabling data set which is widely being used. Its scope of use of the climate reanalysis is improving or advancing, and there is a requirement put forward by WMO members to incorporate the climate reanalysis as part of the WIPs infrastructure and advance the WIPs going beyond the climate forecast to also include reanalysis activity. To comply with that requirements, in 2023, there was a task team formed, which the first slide had all the members on it. Those are the colleagues which help advance climate reanalysis as part of the WIPS infrastructure. And within a 1-year period, we were able to pass it through all WMO procedural details and incorporate as part of the WIPS activity. And we this summer in 2024, there are two kind of WIPS designated centers were approved. One is for the global climate reanalysis, another is the coordination of the assessment of the multiple climate reanalysis. The second one is really the exciting development. The first one, things are already happening. So like JMA and ECMWF, they are producing an operational real-time climate reanalysis, but under that particular designation, they can apply to become an operational center within the framework of the WMO. The second one is much more interesting and important and would have a far-reaching impacts as we go forward in time. These two centers were already mentioned by our colleagues, like Maureen had included this as part of the WCRP presentation a couple of days ago. So as I said, the WIPS manual contains the requirements if you want to become a designated center for a particular activity, and I won't read through this, but these are the if a center gets designated for a global climate reanalysis, there are certain requirements they have to meet. These are listed in the WMO manuals, and some of the conditions are listed here. If you meet these requirements, for example, if you're doing the real analysis on a global scale, you have analysis of climate reanalysis for last 30 or 35 years, then you can apply for this designation and become a formal WMO designated center for global climate reanalysis. The other center is the coordination for assessment of the multiple climate reanalysis, and the objective or the functions of this center is to collect all the reanalysis from various centers, bring it at one place, and do a post-processing and and then develop some products and also redistribute this data to the user community. So it will become a single place where all the reanalysis which are happening in the community will get collected, will get processed and verified or intercompared on a using a common procedures, and then the results will be displayed at the lead or this center's user interface, and then data will get distributed to the researchers, users, and the various member states. So far, we have 2 designated centers as part of the global climate reanalysis. One is first is ECMWF, and then NASA GMAO. There are other applications in the pipeline. So CMA, Chinese Meteorological Administration, has sent forward an application. And we heard from Dr. JMA from Dr. Shinya on the introductory talk that JMA is pushing forward to send an application to WMO to become a formal climate reanalysis centers. And again, if you meet some requirements which are listed, you can look through them in the WMO manual, which was linked from one of these slides. And if you wish to become a designated center, you can always apply through following the procedures to become a designated center. Currently, we are very grateful to ECMWF to become the coordination of the assessment of multiple climate reanalysis activities. My colleague here sitting from ECMWF is Allison is the lead for a point of contact for this. There's a lot of work to be done, but given the experience ECMWF has, I'm sure they will be able to handle this task of being the coordination, collecting various different reanalysis, developing the products, and providing it to the users. So right now we only have the atmospheric climate reanalysis, but in going forward, you can imagine similar kind of coordination activity could happen for other components of the Earth system, for example, ocean, land, air quality, etc. Yesterday or day before, we had a talk about the ORA intercomparison of the ocean reanalysis activity, which is sort of episodic, but if something like this happens for the ocean community, this could become an operational activity going forward in time, and will be sustained as time goes on. So this is, I think, is my last slide. I'll stop there. And again, this could have very far-reaching influence or impacts as part of the climate reanalysis going forward in time. Thank you very much.